You have tuned in to Be the Voice podcast, where we are using our voices to shatter the silence by promoting healing from past trauma, aiming for victorious living, and uplifting the work to improve our communities. It's time to be informed, encouraged, and empowered with your favorite host, Dee Marie. Well, hello and welcome to Be the Voice podcast. I hope you guys are having a great day today. So glad to be back in the studio as I am as always. I always say I'm so excited, but that's who I am. I am truly, truly, truly excited about this series that we're doing in February. It is called Relationship Status, because we all know that February is the month of love. So we're going to dive into just different topics about relationships and how we can be as singles, as people that are newlyweds, been married for a while, and just dating. We're going to talk about all of it. But before we get started, I want you all to know that I am the host, Dee Marie, and Be the Voice podcast is actually brought to you by Voices Magazine. And Voices Magazine is an online magazine that brings voices of sexual abuse survivors. So it brings the stories of those that are healing from past trauma, and they want to use their story to help others heal as well. So, and it's a great magazine for everybody. You don't have to be a survivor to read it. It will truly bless you and will bring you stories to even encourage you. And it is to inform, encourage, and empower. So once you read it, you will see that there's a counselor's corner, there's healthy living, fashion and beauty. We spotlight organizations that are actually doing the work in the community to improve our families and improve our communities. So if you guys want to pick up a copy, you can go to vocesmagazine.com, and that's VOSAS magazine.com. And if you need resources, you can email us at info@vocesmagazine.com, and that's info@vosas.com. And even though Be the Voice podcast is brought to you by Voices Magazine, we don't just talk about the stories of sexual abuse. We talk about all stories, things that are going to bring healing to our community, that's going to improve our families and also improve our communities. So that is the purpose of this podcast. Well, tonight I want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to first bring in my co-host, which is my sister, Latonya Buford. You guys are familiar with her. She has been with me for a while here. So, hey, Tanya, how are you?
Hey, I am good. How are you? And how's everybody?
Good.
Hopefully all is well.
Yes. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. So if you guys don't know, she'll be my co-host from now on. So we'll both be on bringing you just different topics and stories. And we just want to just be an encouragement to whoever
Absolutely.
is watching. Yeah. And tonight we're going to dig into a topic So Tanya and I are single, so that's the relationship status. We're single, but I wanted to bring in some single men who are men of God, but also who tell the truth. And we are talking the truth about singleness, not just okay, yes, I know I'm saved and I love God, but I'm doing everything right. No, as singles, we don't always do things right, but we want to be honest about where we are. We can be happy. We can desire to be married and still be, doing the things that we enjoy as singles. Yeah. Yes, so absolutely. Without further ado, I want to bring in our two male guests here, because they're going to bring in another perspective. Because as women, we always talk about singleness. A lot of times we don't get that male perspective. And I think that it's great that we do have that. So let me bring on our guests here. So first, I'm going to bring in Apostle Damon Cannon. Damon, how are you? I'm sorry, Apostle.
Hello.
I can be Damon tonight. I'm great. Okay. How are you all doing?
We are good.
I just want to be respectful.
Right. Yes.
All right.
Yes. I'm here for the people that don't get it right. That was me. You invited me for that, right?
No,
I think that's all of us.
Yes. So we're gonna bring in the bishop. Hi, Bishop. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I guess I'm on here tonight because I'm ratchet. That's why I'm on here.
Not ratchet. Well, you're honest. You're honest.
Yes, honest.
Right.
Honest.
You're honest.
So thank you all for coming on to be our male guests, because a lot of times as women, we always talk about singleness, especially if we are single, and we don't always get that male perspective, especially men who love God, and doing that work, but what are you guys thinking? What do you guys want to say about being single? And I had some questions here, but we can really just kind of have a conversation. Apostle Damon, I've known you for a little while.
Right.
So yeah. So and then Bishop, do you remember me? We met.
I sure do.
Okay,
yep.
yeah, it was like I guess it was a couple of years ago.
We had fun too.
Yes, we did. At I think it was called Recess or something. At
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
I think I'm new to the party. I don't know
Yeah.
either one of you, so.
Oh, Tommy, you don't know Damon? I thought
No.
Okay, so Damon actually went to Riverview. So Damon,
okay.
I went to the junior high. Yeah, years. So yeah. But Bishop, I know you talk about singleness a lot because I don't know if that's part of your ministry or in whole, but I know you do talk about singleness, and not only do you talk about it, but you're real about it, and you tell the truth, because a lot of times we try to put on an act, right. Especially in the body of Christ. Sometimes we do, but let's be real tonight. So the first question I had, what is being single? Okay. And I asked this question because if there's single and there's married. So if you're single, that means you're not separated. There is no marriage certificate that has it.
Right.
That has it, that's not still on file. Like you are single, you're if you're not married, you're single, So let's talk about that. So I want to kind of hear that from you guys, what you guys think about what is single, and whoever wants to go.
Bishop.
Yeah, you're right. Shucks. Well, I mean, single is everything that you said. I'm unmarried and I'm outside, and it means I can date who I want to date. That means I can see you at coffee with whoever I see you at coffee with, and I don't have expectations of you because we had coffee yesterday. Single to me means it does not mean alone or lonely.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Single is it's not a season. You know what I'm saying? It's just a space in life that I'm in. I'm unmarried. I'm an unmarried man. Because you can't make somebody love you.
Ooh, look, that's
on top of that, Bishop. Add on top of that single is not a curse.
It is not a curse.
It's not. Yeah. It's not a prayer request.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all pray for me. I'm single. I mean, it's really okay. You don't have to feel sorry for somebody because they're single. When Paul made reference to single people, he said, "I wish y'all could be like me."
Yes, he did.
It was the preferred place, but I'll let you all get to that. But yeah,
talk about that. It is a valuable space.
It is. It is.
I think that the problem is we have been so conditioned with get married, especially when it comes to women. That's like a place of honor to be married, that we miss what we can gain in being single. We have been taught for so long that we just supposed to be married that we miss all the lessons that come with being in a place of singleness. Discovery of self is one thing. We miss all of that. And we think that our identity is in the marriage when we should have who our identity is before the marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's it. I also Bishop, you said something. Oh my gosh, I was trying to remember what you said. I can't remember what you said, but I think one of you guys said that there is value in being single. Yeah.
Very much so.
Because I believe so. I've been married before, and I've been divorced for like 15 years. Now I have not really been in a relationship. I've had, situationships, we're just gonna tell it like it is. But nothing really has come of it. But during that time, I had time to actually heal myself, because I'm telling you, I was a terrible wife. I'm being very honest. I was a terrible wife. But during this time of being single, it's like God allowed me to heal and to deal with some of those issues, so I don't take it into because I want to get married again. You know, I know I'll be married again, but to take it and, you know, bring it into that relationship. So I do think that sometimes, like you said, there is value in being single, because now it's like, okay, you got to deal with yourself. Yes. And be honest with yourself, you know, like, what are some things that I need to work on? But I think sometimes people jump from relationship to relationship and not really deal with some of the issues that they have.
Yeah.
And we never find out why we jumped out of the first relationship. Yeah. I mean, what was wrong the first time? You know, why did I leave that relationship? Whether we were married or we were just courting in the back room, what was wrong with it that it didn't work? And how much of that was in me? You know, maybe I'm looking for Mr. Right, I'm looking for Miss Right, but maybe I'm the problem.
Right.
You know, so if we can find out what it is that we have going on within us, we might be a little less damaging to other people as we go along.
Yeah.
I feel like being single is valuable real estate. You know, if you look at it from that standpoint, I often ask myself the question, Jesus must have knew something we didn't know, because for him to do all that he did unmarried, to me, just blows my mind that we use the institution of the church to, and I call it the marriage idol, that we sometimes, you know, push people into something that Jesus himself didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if it was a WWJD, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't have got married.
Right. That's true.
So then it makes me, so it literally makes me ask the question is, of course, I'm not being a brainiac about this, but this is what has helped me with my singleness. How did he skip Bath Mitzvah and Bar Mitzvah? How did he skip his marriage being arranged? How did, at some point, he made a choice to bypass tradition and to carry and to think about his assignment? So why is it that we feel like we can't do the same?
That's excellent. And I was just thinking right before you came in on that, long time ago now, when I started in ministry, you know, one of the first things I said, okay, I'm called to preach and I'm ready to go hard for the Lord. And I went out, and then all the old saints came to me and said, okay, now you got to get married.
Gotta get married.
They didn't care if I knew all the books of the Bible. They didn't care if I knew the Lord's Prayer. Just make sure that you get married. And the emphasis and the pressure was put on there to the point that it almost felt like something was wrong with me if I hadn't done that. And I had that same revelation that Bishop had, that, wait a minute, Jesus never got married. And 33 years in, he was still not married, you know. So what's really going on? Is it something broken in him, or is it really okay?
Right. That's good. And because you do hear that a lot, like when, of course, you know, when men become pastors, the first thing is, oh, he got to get a wife. Where's his wife? Where did that even come from?
Huh. How much time y'all got tonight? Because, you know, I'm just...
Let me get my pen.
Okay, look, because don't make me warm with my hands. Look.
Come with it.
I mean, it's really one thing. They're just afraid of somebody's sexual freedom.
Thank you.
That's really all it is. I don't want you to be the pastor, and I don't want the potential of you sleeping through your church. You know what I'm saying? So it's the whole idea of trying to protect and to control, but not realize that is a choice that a person makes. And I think a lot of it is wrapped in moralism, you know, because we care so much about rights and wrongs that we will pick somebody in a horrible marriage that even in the church, we're honest that most of them ain't working. But we would rather keep sending you down that pipeline like we think is one day is going to be a magic pill for brokenness inside of people, that single space allows them to work out.
That's good.
We don't want you to sleep with everybody in the church, but you can't sleep with everybody in the church unless everybody in the church is sleeping with you.
Thank you.
See, right. It takes two.
It does. It's still at least two.
And this 2023, hey, you know, it's 2023. We add to that now.
That's a whole other conversation. We have to do that another episode.
If we fix this, you know, there's a word we used to use in the church called sanctified. If we put the emphasis on sanctification, if we put the emphasis on spiritual maturity, then can't I make a good decision? And maybe I don't pick the person that I shouldn't be with just to make sure I got somebody.
Come on.
You know, I don't go and stay in an abusive relationship just so I don't have to be shamed because I can't keep a man or I can't keep a woman. You know, I don't have to worry about being the old maid or even pegged as the whore in the church just because you didn't choose the last person.
Come on.
You know.
Yes. And
so I'm sorry, on the other end, I say on the other end of the spectrum, I'm on the other end of my sister. So I have never been married. I have 3 children. I have never been married. I do desire to get married, but I am grateful that I have not been married because I already know that if I had gotten married, it would not have been a marriage that had lasted because the person that I was then is not the same person that I am now. And so because of that, any marriage that I had before now would fail because I was still coming into myself. And now I'm in a better position mentally and matured more to sustain, not even necessarily marriage, just a relationship. Let's start there. Just have a relationship, period.
And two, I want to add to what one of you guys said about, you know, because when you're single in the church, which I have found sometimes, they look at single women as if, like, I'm coming for everybody's man.
Right.
I don't want your man. Like, I do not, like, at all. I don't want him. I'm not looking at him. You know, none of that. Just because I'm single, I'm not desperate.
Thank you.
I'm not thirsty. I'm not looking after everybody. Now, if you marry, I don't want them problems.
Right.
I ain't have to know married men. But I have found that sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, some married women are threatened by single women, and especially if you are attractive.
Facts.
And what is wrong with being single and attractive?
You know, I'm still trying to figure that out. I think a lot of it is built through projections. I think this is why I always try to make sure that I include some personal development element into these conversations because I found that a lot of people, they think that the church's only role is to focus on somebody's biblical literacy.
Right.
And it's like, but yeah, you're biblically literate, but you are emotionally a child. You know what I'm saying? Like you really don't know how life works and how people work. And you afraid of the cute girl. You want to call her a Jezebel because actually you and your husband have issues. It ain't got nothing to do with her, but you need somebody to project on.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So you take it out on the one that's least likely to project back because in certain ways they see that the value in the church is the premium, quote unquote, in the church is marriage.
Right.
But I was a lot of us have been that way. I was married for 11 years and it was miserable. I couldn't stand her. I'm the pastor and couldn't stand her and married and all of that, going to church, smiling, fighting all the way to church and doing all of that. But there was a certain protection I had because I was married. Nobody would ever inspect my marriage. You see what I'm saying? Because
yes. Yeah,
I told y'all, we ain't got time for this podcast tonight.
You own it.
I had a protection. Nobody was going to inspect it.
Yeah, yeah. And they were going to question you or question it. No, that's
Never.
right. That's right. That's right.
Even if you feel that they ain't on one accord.
And in some cases, you don't know the person on the other end. Like for me, I've never been married, but I tried, and she said no. And if my organ was ready, I would shout right there. You know, I didn't know then, Latonya, what I know now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I was saying yes to some things that I really didn't need to say yes to. You know, I was asking for something that I really didn't want just because I thought it was what I was supposed to want. I was trying to put myself in the position I was supposed to be in, but I didn't know how to ask for what I really wanted or really needed or what God even really needed me to have, you know. But I want to go back to this and say one of the things that we have conditioned ourselves to, I know you all are holy people, so you don't go out on dates, but when sometimes even just in social settings, people will approach you and then they say, oh, Why are you single? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you single? Like, how does that connect? Like, I got a virus or something. You know what I'm saying? Right. Why does that have to be? Why am I not perceived as blessed because I'm single?
Let me go one step. I'm sorry. Let me go one step further and to say that we have been so conditioned to be married that when we are single, the question is not coming from everybody else or why are you single. The question is coming from us. Why am I single? Because I should be married. You know, and I'm a woman and don't mind telling my age. I'm 49, I'm getting ready to be 50, and I've never been married. So then it becomes, well, you in church and you faithful. I think I'm a nice looking woman. But you know, with that being said, the question is not even necessarily from outside, but because we have been trained so much to know that we're supposed to get married. Now the question is, what's wrong with me? Why I'm not getting married? So a lot of times we internalize singleness as an issue or what is wrong with me because I've been single. And we have to get out of that mindset to think that's not necessarily an issue with me. Maybe it's something that I still need to get out of this before I can get into a long-standing relationship.
Yes. And to Damon, so and you said we don't date. You were joking,
That's
right?
not true.
I was like,
look, I turned my head live.
Yeah, because
no comment.
We can't do that. It's time for transparency.
Well, it's
Let's
not,
make comments.
It's not politically, socially safe to date.
You're right.
Especially for you preachers and people like that. It's not socially. I saw Bishop on the south side with one girl. I saw him on the north side next week with a different girl, and both of them had their clothes on, but he's a hoe now because I saw him with two different women, and he's not married to either one of them. So even when you do try to have a social life, you know, and I mean, Dee Dee, we gone out and had coffee or something like that. But if somebody saw us, you know, it's on CNN tonight. You know what I mean? Now, well, did you hear about Damon and Dee Dee? That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And we like, when did that happen? You know, what did we do? You know, but how people perceive that is a challenge. And especially as you grow in the spiritual ranks, you know, if you're someone that's out there and doing great things in ministry, it becomes a whole nother thing of,
absolutely,
you know, how you fit in. So you have to almost date in private.
So let's talk about dating as
which is dangerous. Go ahead.
You guys are obviously you guys are in the forefront. You are the bishop and you are the apostle. You guys have churches. You're the pastor. What is dating? How do you do that without it becoming, like Damon said, now, you know, you a hoe. And as a woman, if I date, you know, someone and then somebody sees me the next day, I'm dating somebody else, you know, automatically, what's she hoeing? You know, what's she doing? I'm not sleeping with nobody. I'm just having dinner. And if I want to have dinner, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what does that even look like as far as dating?
Apostle?
I've been a hoe for a long time.
I got him back.
Yeah, well played. I was ready for it too. I was like, this is mine right here. You know, I've been a hoe for a long time, and I didn't earn all of it. There's no good answer. Right. There's no good answer for it. The only thing you can do is be authentic. Just be you and just do you, and let the other stuff go, because people are going to talk about you. You're going to run into those things, especially someone with the exposure that somebody like Bishop has or somebody like that. People are hunting for you, and the word is out, and that's what they want to talk about, is the most eligible bachelor, so to speak, and that's the conversation. And if they see you out, it's the conversation, and then they say, "Well, wait a minute, he was with my cousin last week, and I thought he was looking at me. He asked me for my number." You know, you can't. You know, my dating is church. You know, come to church and praise the Lord, and I'll wave at you and see you when. You know, I can't. It's not safe.
So how do you? Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm gonna change a little bit.
Go for it.
Because I'm be honest, I haven't dated because who is there to date? I mean, there is, as some people say, there's pee in the pool, or like who is there to date? I mean,
it's all in there.
There's what?
She being nice. That's not the phrase. She being nice right now.
Where do
it's
I
all in the pool
to meet a quality man to date?
I love it. I love this question. I actually did a series entitled "There Is in the Pool," but I had my graphic designer put a yellow inside of the pool so that I could talk about it. But the quality men are either in the place of their hobbies, right, or typically dedicated to their careers. This is a worldview question. You know what I'm saying? So like, because oftentimes we try to date within our sphere, you know what I'm saying, our comfortability, the zone that we live in, the places that we live in. But oftentimes the people that we want to date are sometimes in that next place of life. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people like exclusivity, like I ride my bike. I still have on my gym clothes, right? But I ride my bike. I rarely see a woman on a bike, riding her bike. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's where you will find me.
Right.
You would find me at the gym or at a cigar lounge. It's been in cigar lounges all day, every day. Wherever there's whiskey, you're going to find a man. You see what I'm saying? So oftentimes the worldview is the issue that most women that are saved, they don't want to be in any quote unquote worldly situation or whatever like that. But a lot of these dudes are actually very godly men. They just go to places to disconnect and connect with other men. But there's such this line of secular sacred that is also having an impact on our ability to have relationships too. Because one of the reasons why it's been hard for me to find a woman in church that's attractive is simply because they're moral only. So it's like they're good enough to go to church with, but they're not really good enough to do life with. Like we'll go to heaven together, but we'll be miserable together because I don't eat that. A woman will turn me off with that. I don't eat that. But you ain't never tasted it before. How you know what it tastes like?
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? So typically we have these things that we're calling boundaries that are not real and they're based on fears. And those are the things that have been keeping us, I think, from actually being in the same spaces with each other, because sometimes it will challenge us to change our habits and hobbies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In our actual worldview. So it puts us in different spaces in different rooms. And then sometimes it's just practical. Like we're only looking in one certain zone.
Right.
And we haven't really ever challenged ourselves to date outside of our preferences.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt nobody.
Go ahead.
My question is this, and because we are saved and you're pastor and bishop, the thing that I think we've been taught to hear is that you have to be equally yoked. And my thing is, and pertaining to kind of what you said, Bishop, a lot of people take that and say, well, he got to be in church. He got to be in this. He got to be, because that's the only way we equally yoke. And based on what you just said to me, that does not mean just that. Explain that to me, because you've heard it so much our whole lives. And it's just, I don't know. It's an issue for me.
Right. It's always been an issue for me too, because equally yoked, you have to go back to understanding the oxen and their ability to carry responsibility and weight together. It's a capacity conversation. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes we're looking at whether somebody goes to the same church or not, instead of realizing, do they have the same belief system? And what we're finding is many people don't even know the belief system. We don't ask questions about their personal faith philosophy, because we know a lot of people that go to church,
right,
but they really aren't strong in faith. They don't have a relationship with God. And oftentimes that's where you get unequally yoked. I believe this way about God. You believe this way about God. how is it that we're in church and we've had all these divorces, and y'all say marry within the church? And I married a Christian. I didn't marry a Muslim. I didn't marry a Buddhist. She was a Christian, and I still couldn't stand her. You see what I'm saying? What are you talking about? So for me, it's greater than just what church you go to. It's the philosophy. It's the way we actually think about our faith and how we live that out toward God that we should be assessing.
Absolutely.
Let me piggyback and say that scripture is about being unequally yoked with unbelievers.
Unbelievers, yes.
But I think it's also important, even socially. Back to what we said about finding a man on the bike or in the cigar bar or doing whatever they do. There's a lot of times because we're low-key thirsty. We low-key very thirsty. And our priority is catching a man, period. And it doesn't matter how nicely we wrap it up. Y'all tell me later about the pee in the pool, but I do know that there's fish. There's fish in the lake. There's always fish in the lake, but you don't always do a good job of catching fish. You know, the fish don't come just on certain days, just when a certain person is there. They've been there the whole time. So it's something about the way that you're attracting the fish or that you're not attracting the fish. And usually it's the way that we carry ourselves that says, you know, if you go out there with a net and try to throw the net in the water and catch the fish, all the fish are going to run away from you. It's not that they're not there. It's our approach. And so a lot of times that's what it is. It's not that there's not men there, but we're not really attractive to the type of man that we want to catch. You know, we're good, we're strong, we're powerful, and that itself might not be attractive. You know, and you know, you want a power broker type of a person, but you don't want to be submissive. You know, I mean, that's a bad match. So you've got to make sure that you're attracting what you want to catch.
My God.
And in a lot of cases, that's not what we're doing. We're out just trying to spearfish. I got one, girl. You know, and you bring him home and you spend the rest of your life making him miserable because he's not what you really wanted. He's just what you were able to catch.
Ooh.
I'm going to start this offering off for $20. Y'all.
You hear me? The doors of the church are open.
Somebody pass the collection plate.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard. And that goes back to us being focused on being married more so than focused on sharing life with someone.
Yes.
Having someone that you actually want to spend time with, that you want to do the same things, that you're going the same types of places. You don't have to work the same job or have the same career, but you're engaged in what each other is doing in life and you're not in direct opposition. I'll be a little transparent. I dated a young lady and she told me early on, she was like, now look, I'm not going to be going to church 3, 4, 5 times a week. And you all that know me real good know that should have been a deal killer right off the top because I'm a church boy. You know what I'm saying? But why did I stay in that relationship? I stayed in that relationship because people had pumped my head and told me that I was too hard and I was too choicey, or, you know, I didn't have an open mind. I need to give somebody a chance and see how I was receiving all of that. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And then, yeah. Yeah. You know, right. I'm straight up just now healing from damage in that relationship. I'm just now healing from damage in that relationship that I should never have gone into. And I stayed in there for 3 years.
My God.
Wow.
And I stayed in there a year and a half past when I knew I should have been out because I couldn't let go.
And now I think men hurt. We don't have no feelings.
Oh my gosh. I was just about to say that because we as women just look at us like, we stay, because we do stay in relationships too long sometimes.
But we do.
But Damon, you just said, and Bishop, you just said, men hurt too. Men get in relationships that they shouldn't be in and love the woman and it don't work. But again, women, we always look at it as if it's the man's fault or something wrong with him why the relationship didn't work.
Right.
If that's partly one of the issues why it's difficult to date, because we realize that we end up having to take the full weight of the responsibility if it does not work. It's very rarely that a woman comes to a place of maturity like you did, Dee. That I appreciate. That's what drew me in even deeper to this conversation when the first words out of your mouth was, you know what, I was a bad wife. Because that's so rare to hear. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Because there's a level of self-awareness that typically just isn't there in a lot of people's journey when they actually get into that relationship or that first marriage. And that's the disservice I think the church does by being, I call it hyper-moral, that you're so afraid of people sleeping around and you're so afraid of people having babies that before their mental ability to have self-awareness about their identity, you push them to make the biggest decision of their life. Yes. Which then on the other side of it becomes the biggest hell in their life, all trying to do it right.
Yes. Because in my case, I was pregnant and getting married was the best thing to do.
Best thing to do.
It was the worst.
Like, how does that help?
How does that help? Right?
What does that do? You get a bonus now because, I don't get it. Right. But we push people that way. We do. Yeah. And we've never fixed. I'm sorry, Dee, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We've never fixed what got you pregnant in the first place. So we've never addressed fornication. We just masked it with marriage. Yeah. Right. And so now we wonder why that person a couple of years later is an adulterer.
Yes.
Because they've never fixed the fact that they're sexually out of control.
Yeah.
We never learned how to be sexually in control. It's just better to marry than to burn. So just go ahead and jump the broom and figure it out. Spend the rest of your life figuring it out rather than realizing that you have a problem. And so you can't figure out why it is that he keeps looking at her. He's always had a lustful eye. He just caught yours and got you pregnant.
Right. Yep.
And so that never changed just because he got married. He was at the wedding looking at your bridesmaids.
I'm hollering.
Look, I was the bridesmaid at that wedding. Don't look at me. Don't do it.
It's your cousin? Oh,
okay. That's funny. The other part of this conversation, Apostle, that I appreciate too is the fact that we're getting more wiser about physiology. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we didn't have that conversation growing up, so we automatically assumed that attraction was lust. You know what I'm saying? So me being attracted to a woman is me lusting after her. Well, no, that's actually, that should be natural.
Right.
So if you want to know a man that understands his masculinity, then when he sees a woman, he should be attracted to her. And so understanding the difference in the way that we've defined these things in church that have made it hard for us to have pure relationships because we're just thinking, dang, I'm attracted to her. Attraction means like there's some element or sexual thoughts that means I need to marry her because I want to have sex with her. And it's like, no, that's not the process. Let's teach you the process. Let's teach you what self-control looks like. Let's teach you how to process and build a relationship. But you don't want to get into a relationship with somebody that you, quote unquote, was abstaining from sex the entire time because of moral issues, then get married to them and don't have sex with them at all. You see what I'm saying? Like that's part of the problem with our makeup and our interpretation of scripture, because we're not understanding that even God takes account of understanding these makeups. And this is a Jewish book. Their marriages were arranged, man. We over here in America, 30, 39, 40, 45, 49. Which my body is a raging bull. So I'm going to feel everything it's supposed to feel, and it ain't the devil.
Right.
Because
about it.
That's what my body is supposed to do right now.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. That is true, because we, like you said, we try to be so saved and have all these morals. Like, the truth is, I'm a woman who wants to have sex. I mean, let's just be honest.
Just put it on the table.
Because I'm single don't mean that goes away. No. If anything, it's make it
worse. Facts. Tell me to go take no cold shower. I'm a grown man. You can say that. You can say that at youth church. You can say that to the youth. The kid. Tell me that. Like, that's partly one of the reasons why I'm so forward about it, because I feel like there's a dignity that the church has lost. Yeah. So oftentimes their tone about the way they address singleness really is almost as if you're dealing with people that are kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand that something is true, but it does not mean you weaponize that truth.
Right.
It's you use that truth to empower me to understand who I am, and so that I can walk firmly in that. For me, the scripture does not tell us anything about Jesus dating. Like, nothing. There's nothing in the text that talks about Jesus dating. But Jesus had two platonic friends, Mary and Martha. He went to their house to eat. The scripture explicitly says this. Like, I don't think this is conjecture. But I just think that maybe there are some things that people should know. That's what I think about when I try to think about Jesus. Maybe it's just something we should know. Maybe that's a personal choice. Maybe that's a part of his humanity that he said, maybe y'all don't need to know that. And maybe that's the same thing, the same approach we need to have. Instead of trying to glorify it and, pay millions of dollars for a wedding and not prepare for a marriage to show it, why don't we just have it and live it and enjoy it and let it be a part of our journey, instead of trying to prove something to these people that ain't pulling for you no way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Facts. And I think also I'm back on my thirsty thing. We have kind of misled people on what it is to be attractive.
Ooh, Lord.
Like sometimes, especially I'll speak from the man side looking at women. Sometimes their approach is, I've got to go be more sexy, whatever that is. Right. So the shirts get cut a little lower, the skirts get a little shorter or tighter or whatever. We think that attractive means show more skin. It means kind of appear to be open for sexual activity, but then we don't want the relationship to be about sex. But that's the only thing that we're offering.
Right.
That's the only thing that we're presenting is sexiness. We're not saying let's have a great conversation. We're not saying let's go work out and be physically fit. We're not saying what book are you reading. Let's share that. Nothing about the relationship is about the relationship. It's just about relations. And we're trying to carry it like we want to be wholly saved and sanctified. And no, I'm not just trying to have sex, but it's better for us to marry. But then that's all there is.
Right.
We haven't fed anything else. We don't pray. We don't pray together. What are we doing outside of trying to abstain and hold on so we can get married? If we're doing that.
Right.
Or we're guilted into, we doing it, so we might as well get married now.
Yep. Right. Yep.
What more is there? What's the value in the relationship? When I've done marriage counseling with it, which is weird, but I've done several. And one of the things I always say, like, what is there to it besides the sex? And what happens if you throw the rice at the reception and he slips and falls and is paralyzed? Are you then now want a divorce? I mean, are we not going to be married anymore?
Right.
Because he's not able to perform sexually. Is that a deal killer? Or is that all that you were marrying in the first place? or are you now going to go find another man to sleep with? And so wanting to have sex is a terrible reason to get married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apostle Cannon can't say, just go get you some.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I never said that.
That's right.
That's good. So
no, it's on record. It's on video. I never said.
You never said it.
Nope.
So here's my thing, and I know, like I said, we saved and all that kind of stuff, and we keep repeating it. I am a single woman, and I love the Lord, and I go to church faithfully. I am very dedicated to my church, but I do not want to date somebody who the only thing we have in common is church. I don't. I don't want everything that come out your mouth is I'm blessed and highly favored. We got to have something more than just that. I'm sorry. I love the Lord. I want to read the Bible and we can pray, but outside of that, what we doing?
Right.
Yeah. Look, Bishop, you got something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, for me, I think the strength of religion is moralism. And it's misinterpretation of what is meant to be pure. So one of the reasons why I seek to articulate it and have these conversations around it is because I think I have found the mousetrap. The mousetrap is the way that our worldviews have been constructed around relationships have been socialized, because the goal is to push us, quote unquote, to marriage. So what do? You use morals to push people down the aisle to marriage, because that's how you reinforce institutions. So I think that it's a higher conversation that needs to be had about our overall philosophy as a people and the worldview that we see. Like, I was like, so y'all want to build marriage based off of white people in the Industrial Revolution? That's how you think marriage is supposed to be, when our families were actually destroyed. So if you're talking about the traditional family, I'm like, are you talking about our traditional family or the traditional white family?
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Schedule that meeting.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's my mind. Like, why do we keep trying to reinforce ideals we're taking the scripture and we're butchering context just to force people down the aisle to marriage by saying, look, your life, God gives you the ability to make choice. And he's such a good God, he gives you capacities. You strengthen those capacities and those choices, you can have what you want. So if you want to be married, you have the capacity, you know what I'm saying, for that. And you strengthen it and you build yourself to be able to manage doing life with somebody else the rest of your life. Right. But if you don't want to be married, you have the capacity to live single and to do what God called you to do. Yes. And this is supposed to be a beautiful tapestry of humans really living the human experience in whatever space that they're in. And we respect whatever space a person is in.
Yes.
Right.
That's the simplicity of it to me.
Yes, that's the simplicity of it. And I know, because we're gonna wrap it up. I know we went over. But I
sounds like episode 2 is coming.
Right. Can we, and Bishop, you pretty much answered this. Can we be single and happy? Can you?
Oh, absolutely.
1,000%.
Yes, I agree. 1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
I am the happiest I've ever been in my entire life.
I am,
and I say that with all honesty.
Yes.
I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. My single journey hasn't. I mean, I tell people I ain't wake up with angel wings on my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, my angel wings have been clipped a long time ago. But there's no morning I've woke up like, ooh, today, man, who can I smash today? You know what I'm saying? Ooh, who wife can I steal today? Like, I ain't never woke up in that mindset. I'm just out living my life, doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do. And because my eyes are big, I see women all the time and I have thoughts. But the beauty is I go to bed most days without fulfilling any of those thoughts I've had in my head. Can the church celebrate that success?
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
And is there condemnation in the fact that sometimes you fall?
Right.
Do we have to pretend
Facts.
Why do we have to pretend like this is something that's not a part of our life? No, not me. I don't have those problems. If you are fully functional, you probably have those desires.
Yeah.
You probably have those struggles, but those struggles and those desires are not 90% of your life.
Thank you.
Right.
It's something that happens on certain days and times and situations that you say, whew, I'd really like to feel something right now. Mm-hmm. But then when that's over, you're going to go back to the rest of your life,
right?
Which is not surrounded about the next time that you're going to do it again.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's something else going on. And I said what I didn't say was that you should go get you some. I didn't say that. It's on the record. I didn't say that. But for those that have ventured that way and done that, a lot of times after you exhale, you don't even want to be with that person anymore.
Right. Right.
You satisfied a physical desire like an ice cream cone. And the ice cream cone is over, and now you're going on with life. I got that thirst, I got that taste that crave that I had, and it's not what I want to do every day. It may not even be the person that you want to spend time with.
Right.
Once you look through the clear eyes of not sexual engagement, they fine, but that's not who you want to talk to.
Right.
A friend of mine said, you want to marry the person that you want to be with you at your parents' funeral.
Yes.
Who's that person? You know, the person that comforts you, that supports you, that strengthens you, that encourages you, not just the person that turns you on the most. And a lot of times we never see that because we're consumed with the rest. So you got to be able to either get that under control, or you got to be able to see past it to see what else is there besides that.
Right. Yes. And also I want to add too, with being single, I think it's a great time to find who you are, find your purpose. What is it that your assignment? What is it that God wants you to do? You know, we all have something that God wants us to do because it's going to benefit the kingdom and his people, his body, you know. So, spend time doing that, traveling. Like I'm now have begun to travel. I love New York. That's like my favorite place in the world.
What? Don't play with me. You know, New York, my favorite city on the planet.
Let me tell you something. I will move to New York tomorrow.
Listen, I quit everything. Like, who wants this church?
Everything. Yes.
New York.
Love New York. And but just enjoy. And when I go there, I enjoy myself. You know, I haven't went on a single trip there yet. I haven't went a solo, but I do want to go. I'm a little scared. but just enjoy my time there and just enjoying me. And I truly enjoy being, by myself. Do I desire to be married one day? Absolutely. But until that time, I truly enjoy doing things. And I want to get out more. I want to go to more like charity events or, things that's going on in the city. I want to do those things and just enjoy that time. And I think as singles, we can do that. And it's fine. You don't always have to be out here with your tongue hanging out looking for somebody like, where you at? Right. But just enjoy that time. And you never know. You might run into him at an event and then he's there and you're not even really paying attention. And there, boom, there he is.
Right.
But just enjoy being you and having that confidence with being who you are and loving who you are, So yeah, I definitely think we can be single and happy and at the same time still desire to be married or be in a relationship.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen.
If we're gonna, I'm sorry, just one little thing from me. If I want to end this with anything, it's just to let people know being single is not a curse.
No, it's not.
It does not mean there's anything wrong with you. Being single means that you have the opportunity and the space to discover who you are and learn to be okay with you. Learn to love on you. Learn what makes you happy and be a complete person by yourself. It should be more singles dating ourselves. I should be able to take myself on a date, to the movie, to the dinner. And it's not a problem me going to the movie or the dinner by myself and having people looking at me crazy because I'm at a table by myself. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. And we need to get into a space where we're more comfortable doing that and not be, like Apostle said, thirsty to their just have to have someone. You just can't be alone, because it becomes to a point where you just cannot be by yourself. That's the issue within itself. And you need to get into that and figure out what's wrong that I can't be alone.
Yeah. All right, Bishop Apostle, what y'all got?
I agree.
I know you can go all day with this.
I can go all day. I just want to affirm this, that singleness isn't a season. It's a space in life that you're in, and you enjoy that experience fully in its variety without the pressure of marriage. And when you do that, then you're able to fully understand it. My goal is, I got married early. So I was married for 11 years. And so I've understood or have some experiences there. And I wanted to be single as long as I was married, so that I had balance.
Oh, that's good.
You see what I'm saying? So that when I actually get into a relationship, you'll have somebody that learned lessons, like, because I wasn't the best husband, because I was young and immature and didn't know what it took to even build a marriage. I just was a church man that just had to have a wife so that nobody thought she was a hoe. So, I haven't even experienced the fullness of what marriage could bring, into my life. But I also did not use the best of my energy at that time to experience a single life and what it felt like to travel and to eat and to meet new people. And so I'm doing that part of my journey right now, so that I will be very clear about what I desire, and not just what I want from a relationship, but what I have to give.
Yeah.
Right now I'm looking for language of what am I willing to give, instead of what is it that I want from a relationship, because I'm a mature man now.
And I'm gonna say something real quick. That's what you said, Bishop, when earlier you said singleness is not a season.
Yes.
Because people will put that on you all the time. This is your season of singleness. No, this is the state that I'm in right now.
Right. This is my space.
I'm just single. Right. But also, oh my gosh, I'm 48 and I hate my brain sometimes. So I'm about to say something that forgot.
Sometimes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot that fast.
Let me say this. I'll be spiritual for just a minute.
Yes.
And I want to encourage us and those that are watching to ask an act of faith. Ask God why. Like, really seek the why. Why am I single right now? If we trust that God knows what he's doing, we're in this place for a reason. We're in this time. It's not by accident. It's not even by consequence. But I have purpose for right now. So, God, what are you trying to do in my life? Where are you trying to take me? What are you working in me? What am I assigned to do right now that I need to be like I am right now, that I need to be single? What should I be accomplishing right now? And ask God why. It might be the setup for your marriage. It might be the setup for your career. It might be the setup for your ministry. You just don't know, because we're so consumed with unsingling that we haven't stopped to ask God, why am I here? So bring that to your prayer life before you say, God, give me a husband. God, give me a wife. Just say, hey, why am I here, God? What is it that you want to get out of me right now?
That's good. That's all right. Any last words before we wrap this up?
No, thank you.
I think we
Thank you for doing this.
said it all.
Right. Thank you, Tanya, co-host. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Apostle Damon. Thank you guys so much for this. I think it's going to bless many in the series in February. Because February is Valentine's Day. It's Love Month. So I really wanted to talk about relationships, because one thing that I do know is that everyone loves talking about relationships. And they love relationships because either, you desire to be in one, or you desire to marry, wherever your status is. But I think it's important to let people know that you can be single and be happy. You don't have to be thirsty, all of that. And it's a time, like you said, Damon, it's a time to really figure out the why. What is it that my purpose is right now, during this time in my life. And again, I'm just single. Nothing wrong with me. I'm just single. That's it. So again, thank you all for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that we did this, and you guys take care, and we will see you next week. And if you are watching the podcast, come back next week. We're going to talk about being newlyweds, a couple that have just gotten married, and now they are, embarking on this new journey. And we'll talk about how they went from being single to now being newlyweds, and kind of what that like. So stay tuned for next week. We're so excited. So again, thank you for always tuning in to Be the Voice podcast, and we will see you all next week. Have a good evening.
All right.